Hi, superstars. It's time for math. All right, we are on lesson 1-7. You've learned how to count groups of objects up to 5. Today, you will learn how to use counters to solve problems. So here it says use objects. I need to count each group of circles here. So we want to count these circles. How could I use counters to help me count these circles? Well, if I had counters, what I would do is I would place the counters on the circle. Right now I'm going to color it in and I'm going to pretend that that's one counter. I would just place it right there. Here's another counter, and I'm going to put one counter in each of my circles. So these counters are usually plastic flat circles. So each circle has a counter, right? So now let's count each circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there are 5 circles. What number should I write? Let's write the number 5. So remember how we write 5. We go down, around, and then across. So we used counters to count our circles. We'll continue to do that with the rest of these. So I'm going to change the color. So let's say I have these circles here. So I'm going to put a counter on each circle. Okay, so I'm going to put in my counters. I'm coloring it in, but we're pretending that these are counters, right? All right, now let's count how many counters I have in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we counted 4 circles. What number should I write? The number 4, because that's the last number I said as we were counting. All right, let's go to this one. We'll change the color. I have these circles. I'm going to put some counters in here. And now we're going to count how many circles we have. 1, 2. So what was the last number that I said as I was counting? 2. The last number tells us how many we had. Okay, we are up here. So let's count, or let's first put our counters before we count. So I'm going to place my counters. That's what we would do in class. We would place some counters on these, and then we'd count them. 1, 2, 3. So how many circles do we have? We have 3. That's the last number we counted. So we draw the number 3. Good job. All right, let's look at this one right here. Put our counter in here. How many counters do I have? This is an easy one, right? 1. So how many do I have there? 1. 1 counter. Good job. All right, let's go to our last one. Pick a different color. All right, let's put our counters in here. In each circle, we're going to put our counter, and that way we can count and see how many we have. All right, let's start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What number am I going to write? It is the last number that I counted. 5. Good job, superstars. Let's turn our paper over. All right, let's look over here at our first square. All right, let's look right here. All right, what do you see? I see birds on a branch. How could you find out how many birds there are on the branch? We can count them. That is correct. So, how could you use these counters to help you count the number of birds? Well, what we could do is we could place a counter on each bird as I count them. So let's look over here to this picture. All right. A counter was put on each bird. So how many birds are there? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 birds. Good job. Let's start over here. All right. We're going to count how many birds, but we want to use counters as we're counting. So what would we do? We would put a counter for each bird as we're counting them. So we're going to put our counters down. So you put your counters, and then we're going to count them. It's just going to help us. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's write the number 4, and you can skywrite that. Okay, let's go to number 2. Let's get our counters. So we're going to put our counters at each of the birds. All right, so I have that many counters to put down. So let's count them together. 1, 2, 3. The last number I said was the number of birds there are. 3. So you can skywrite that with your finger. 3. Okay, let's go to number 3. We're going to put counters. I'm going to put them up here. We're going to put counters for each bird. So the counters represent the birds. So each counter represents 1 bird, right? All right, let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 birds. We're on problem number 4. All right, we have leaves here. So we're going to get our counters, and we're going to place 1 counter for each leaf. So each counter represents 1 leaf. All right, let's count them. Remember, when you're counting, you want to touch what you're counting. You can put a line so that you know you counted it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I stopped on the number 5. That means we have 5 leaves. Okay, and look, we're on number 5. So we're going to put our counters on each of our leaves. Let's count them. 1, 2. So the last number we said was 2, and that means there were 2 leaves. Okay, now we're on our last problem right here. Number 6. So I'm going to get my counters, and I'm going to put them right here. 1, All right, let's count our counters now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 leaves. All right, good job, superstars. Now I want you to do your worksheet. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.